In this video, I'm going to show a basic overview of the gradebook, what you can see in different views of the gradebook, and what you can do from this base. So you enter the gradebook by clicking on the tab at the top of your course. And then you have 4 different options of views that you might want to look at. And I move back and forth between these views a lot. So in the gradable items view, you can see all of the items that you have set up in your gradebook. You populate the gradebook by adding an assessment in your content area. So for example, a quiz that I want submitted online or an assignment that I want submitted online will be set up in the content area and it will automatically populate into the gradebook. I can also add additional items like an in-person midterm, where I'm going to get the paper copy of the midterm and then I'm going to enter in the grades for each student that way. So a second way of looking at content in the gradebook is to go to the grades view. And in this case, it will show all of your items and assessments along the top and all of the students' names down the left-hand side. Now, another really useful view of the gradebook is going into the student view, where I can zoom into one specific student. So I can click on that student and I see all of their grades, what they've submitted, what they haven't submitted. I can click to see the feedback that I've given them and the grading, how I've graded them on a specific item. So this can be really useful when I want to drill down into a specific student and have a good overview of how they're doing in my course. I can click on their progress and I can look at which items they've viewed in the course and which ones they've clicked as complete. So this just gives me a really high level idea of, oh, it doesn't look like they noticed that there was new reading up. Maybe I need to alert them to it. I can write notes about the student for my own record, so I can keep track of different conversations I've had with them, or if I've heard that they're on the basketball team, or whatever it is that I think is important to note about them. And this is just personal to me. I'm the only one who can see these internal notes. I can also send a message to the individual from this area. So maybe I want to send them a reminder. Maybe I want to just contact them for some reason. So if I have course messages on, I can send them that message. And I can set up accommodations for them. So I can set a due date accommodation or a time limit accommodation right from this view. And then the final view that I can look at my gradebook is the overview page. So the overview page condenses what is going on in the gradebook into what needs grading and what needs posting. So one key thing to think about in Ultra is that when we grade the items in the settings area for a specific assessment, we decide whether or not we want it to post the grade automatically. So the students, as soon as we grade it, they can see their grade, or whether we want to hold off on doing that, which is what I think is really valuable in this. So I can click into a specific item, I can grade multiple students, see all their grades in it, and then when I'm ready, I can click and post that student's grade or post all of the grades for that specific item, and then that's when it becomes viewable for them. Now in all of these views, you'll notice there's a little gear icon on the top right-hand side. And this is how you're going to access the settings. So in the gradebook settings, this is where you can manage your grade schemas. So you can add additional schemas, you can delete a schema, and you can also edit a schema. So if I want to change this grade range to say 89.5 to 100, I can do that and I can move through the entire schema to update that schema. The next area I want to draw your attention to is automatic zeros. So if automatic zeros is turned on, which it's on by default in your courses, that means when the due date comes and passes, if the student hasn't submitted anything, it will automatically populate with a 0 for them. If you don't want this on, you can turn it off here, clear existing automatic zeros, and then confirm it, which many instructors do. So if you decide to use automatic zeros, just make sure you're doing it very intentionally and that is your expectation of what's going to happen. We can click here to set up the overall grade. And within the settings area, you can also add grade categories, which are very tied to this overall grade. So we'll go into that in another video. And you can access, edit, and create new rubrics. So I can click to create a new rubric from scratch. I can click on the title of a rubric and make edits to that specific rubric wherever I want to change it. I can change the type, the way it's going to display, or nuances within the rubric. I can also make a copy or duplicate that rubric and then edit it from there. One thing to keep in mind, when you bring over an assessment from a previous semester, the rubric is going to come with it, and then you can come into this space and edit it if you choose to. So the other thing that we can access from many of these views is the download and upload feature. So if you want to download all your grades into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can add a column and upload, for example, your midterm grades, and then upload it back into the gradebook, you can do that from here. Or you can download it and check the math and do all the calculations, make sure that it's all what you're expecting in Excel, and double check it with the calculation in Ultra. And this little symbol here is if you want to search for a submission receipt. So a student has said, yes, I submitted, here's my submission receipt, and then you can look for that in your gradebook. So as far as the overall organization or setup of the gradebook, you can rearrange your gradebook using that gradable items view. So as you add content to the content area, as you add gradable assignments, they populate automatically at the bottom. And then you can move them around. You can move any item around using the arrows on the right-hand side. So if I move that intro quiz down 3 layers, and then if we look at it in the grid view, you can see that that's moved over to the right. So it's in order from top to bottom and then left to right. So the way you arrange these items is how the students are going to view them. You and your students can go in at any time and sort by due date or sort by grading status. But then if I leave and then come back, it comes back to that base view that we saw. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have further questions or suggestions for other videos to create.